සුවඳ තවත් තිකු කලක් රැඳෙන්න ඩබල් පර්ෆියුම් ලුක් සමගින් එන නව සන්ලයිට් රෝස්.
Tonight, restarting schools made easier. EU's medicine regulator gives the green light to use Moderna jab on minors. Badiuddin's woes. The MP's wife and 3 others detained for 48 hours over skullduggery related to housemaids. Made to wait. Teachers' unions shun GCE ordinary level practical examinations. Protesters meanwhile demand binning of KDU bill and resolution of salary anomalies. Saving grief. Sri Lanka head coach tells cricketers to stay away from social media.
Social media is a sin at the moment, and some of the stuff that is written on there is just beyond comprehensible.
All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Saturday the 24th of July 2021.
දසනකාන්ති චූර්ණය සහිත ලීවර් ආයිෂ් දන්තාලේපය දත්වල ඇති ප්‍රශ්න 10ක් වලකයි.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening, welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanaka. Now, with Sri Lanka's health authorities contemplating the possibility of vaccinating under 18s with the intention of restarting schools, there is some good news coming from Europe. The European Medicines Agency authorised the use of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for children aged between 12 and 17, giving Sri Lankan health authorities another option to consider apart from the Pfizer vaccine, which received similar approval in the United States. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's daily COVID-19 infections seem to be steadily increasing as the country confirmed over 1,800 new cases yesterday.
Sri Lankan health authorities seem to be keeping pace in their efforts to vaccinate the country's over 30 population by September. With an approximate 11.3 million vaccination to be done in total, walk-in vaccinations were made available to the people from the 5th of July. The Triforces operate most of these centres while the health authorities are also contributing to the process. Since then, the daily inoculations have seen a rapid rise with over 300,000 vaccinations done during some of the days that followed. By last evening, over 6.6 million people above the age of 30 had been given at least one dose of a vaccine against COVID-19. From that, 1,746,397 persons had been given both doses, fully immunizing them. So far, the island has seen 5 of the 6 vaccines approved for emergency use being administered to the people. Though China's Sinovac was given the green light, it is yet to be used in Sri Lanka's vaccine rollout. The other 5, AstraZeneca's Covishield, Sputnik, Sinopharm, Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have all been administered in the island. Meanwhile, with the government looking to open schools, it prioritized teachers for vaccination with one eye on the possibility of doing the same for students as well. The global data on under-18s vaccination is limited, with any such program being at trial stage. But now, the European Medicines Agency has approved the use of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for children aged between 12 to 17. This is the first time the Moderna vaccine has been recommended for under-18s. The EU regulator says that a research in more than 3,700 children showed that the jab produced a comparable antibody response to adults. Sore arms, headaches and fatigue were the most common side effects reported by young adults in the trials. The vaccine would be administered in 2 shots to children, similar to the vaccine administration for adults. Prior to this approval, the only vaccine to have been approved for use in children was the Pfizer vaccine in the US. After initially saying the vaccine can be used on persons aged 16 and above, it was revised and the age group was limited to children between 12 and 15 years of age. However, European regulators have also cautioned that both mRNA vaccines developed by Moderna and Pfizer appear to be linked to an extremely rare case of chest pain and heart inflammation in young adults. The EU regulator said it would continue to monitor the safety and efficacy of the Moderna vaccine in children as it is rolled out in its member states. Meanwhile, yesterday saw 40,110 people being given the Sinopharm jab as their first dose, while 10,083 people received their second dose of the same vaccine. 13,308 Pfizer doses and 97,121 Moderna vaccine doses were also given yesterday. As for Sri Lanka's new COVID infections, the daily caseload has been increasing steadily over the past days. 1,815 fresh infections were confirmed across the country yesterday. The Western province accounted for most of it, as 921 new cases were reported across its 3 districts. Of those districts, Gampha topped the list with 438 cases. 30 imported cases were also among yesterday's new infections. As for today, 1,220 new COVID-19 patients have been confirmed so far. In the meantime, the country's overall COVID-19 recoveries rose to 266,665 after 957 patients were given the all-clear to return to their daily lives today.
අඩසේ වසකට වැඩි ජනතා විශ්වාසය නව සංයෝගයකින් රයිනෝ රෝෆිං සහ සීලිං ෂීට්.
The Colombo Magistrates Court today ordered a 48-hour detention of the wife of former Minister Rishad Badiuddin along with 3 other suspects over the death of a 16-year-old girl who was employed at the Badiuddin residence as a maid. The court heard today that a child trafficker had supplied 11 minors to various households related to the Badiuddin family. The Attorney General's department also highlighted the question whether the girl took her own life or whether it was taken by someone else.
The wife and the father-in-law of parliamentarian Rishad Badiuddin were arrested yesterday over the death of a 16-year-old girl child employed at his residence as a domestic worker, along with an intermediary who brought the child to Colombo. During investigations into the child's death, the brother-in-law of the MP was also arrested by the police over an alleged sexual abuse of another domestic worker at the MP's official residence back when he was a minister of the previous regime. Following lengthy interrogations yesterday, the suspects were produced before the Colombo Magistrates Court today under heavy security. Producing the suspects before Additional Magistrate of Colombo Kanchana Niranjana, Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piris called the death of the 16-year-old child an absolute tragedy. The Deputy Solicitor General also produced some post-mortem results before the magistrate, emphasizing that the cause of death was a result of traumatic shock induced by severe external burns. Highlighting the post-mortem results, he added that the child was sexually abused for a prolonged period of time. The Deputy Solicitor General revealed that the child's mother had given her to the middleman, who the police refers to as a child trafficker, to compensate for a loan of 30,000 rupees obtained from him. The child had then been sent to Badiuddin's residence via the middleman. Further, Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piris told the court that the suspect had supplied 11 such children to domestic aids to various families related to MP Badiuddin. He revealed that the child had been given lodging in a room 6 foot by 4 foot in size, which was detached from the MP's residence. The room had not been fitted with a light. He said that it was disappointing to see such an unfortunate event taking place, where the head of the household, who is currently hospitalized, is a member of the legislature, adding that he too should be investigated. The Deputy Solicitor General pointed out that these events have given rise to serious suspicions of whether she committed suicide due to ill treatment or her life was taken. He added that this incident has also caused public outrage. After considering the submissions, the Additional Magistrate allowed the suspects to be detained by the police for 48 hours and ordered that they be produced before court on Monday the 26th. Accordingly, the wife of MP Badiuddin was detained by the Kirlapana police, while the other 3 suspects were taken into custody by the Borala police. Following the death of the minor on the 15th of this month, MP Badiuddin, who was in the custody of the Criminal Investigation Department, was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital on the 17th. Ever since the hospital admission, the CID has kept a close watch on Badiuddin. Today, they had caught the MP tossing some pills out of the toilet window. When the pills discarded was brought to the attention of the doctor in charge of the relevant ward, it had been revealed that the MP had been discarding the medication given to him. Thereafter, the doctor in charge had recommended that the MP be taken back to the CID. Meanwhile, several protests were held across the island, demanding justice for the deceased 16-year-old child.
සල්ලි තියෙන දේශපාලන බල තියෙන කට්ටිය මේ වගේ දුප්පත් ළමයිව ගෙනියලා දූෂණය කරලා මරලා දානවා. මේකට හොඳ නීතියක් ඉස්ස කරන්න ඕන කියලා අපි ඉල්ලා සිටින මේ අවස්ථාවේදී.
අපේ දරුවෝ ශාලිනිට වෙච්ච දේ ආයෙත් ඒ වගේ ලංකාවේ වෙන්න හොඳ නැහැ කියලා මම ඉල්ලන්නේ.
இந்த ஹிஷாலினிக்கு நீதி வேண்டும்.
Justice should be done to Ishalini. People responsible for her death should be exposed. The justice that was done to Vidya should be done to this child as well. Given the juncture we are at, people of all races and religions, especially the Muslim community, should raise their voice against this incident.
முஸ்லிம் அமைப்புகள் இந்த இடத்திலே குரல் கொடுக்க வேண்டும்.
Meanwhile, politicians also expressed views regarding the matter, with Samagi Janabalawegya parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman calling on the authorities to bring those responsible to book.
ඒ දැරියට අතවර සිද්ධ වෙලා තිබෙනවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේදී රිෂාඩ් බදුරුදීන්ද එහෙම නැත්නම් වෙන අයද කියන එක අදාළ නැහැ. සියලු දෙනාටම නීතිය එක හා සමානව ක්‍රියාත්මක විය යුතුයි.
බදුරුදීන් අමාත්‍යවරයාත් ඔහුගේ පවුලේ උදවියත් මේ පිළිබඳව වගේ කියනවා. කිසිම කෙනෙකුට බේරෙන්න ඉඩ තියන්නෙත් නැහැ. කිසිම දේශපාලන බලයක් යොදන්න ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉඩ දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. මේ අපරාධකරුවන් සියලු දෙනා අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන නීතිය හැමෝට පමනනවා.
The Ceylon Teachers Union is set to withdraw from the GCE ordinary level practical examinations as they continue to demand a resolution to their salary anomalies. It has now been 13 days since they withdrew from the online education process.
For 13 consecutive days, online education process for school children has been disrupted due to the strike launched by teacher-principal trade unions. At the heart of it is a request from the government to resolve their salary anomalies and to do away with the Kotalavala Defence University Bill. A joint statement by the teacher unions against the bill was inked today at the auditorium of the Public Library in Colombo. Meanwhile, a protest was organised in Chilao this afternoon by the Puttalam District Teachers and Principals Association, demanding that their salary issue be resolved. Even the heavy rains which fell in the area did not deter the protesters. In the meantime, the People's Organisation for Justice filed a complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department today on the grounds that the protests carried out by the teachers are in violation of the prescribed health and safety guidelines.
මූලික අයිතිවාසිකම් භුක්ති විඳිය යුත්තේ ක්‍රියාත්මක විය යුත්තේ යම් යම් සීමාවලට යටත්ව. ඒ සීමාවේ පළවෙනිම දේ තමයි මහජන ආරක්ෂාව කියන කාරණය. ඔවුන්ගේ මේ උද්ඝෝෂණ මාලාව පැහැදිලිව සෞඛ්‍ය අධ්‍යක්ෂ ජෙනරාල්වරයාගේ මාර්ගෝපදේශ උල්ලංඝනය කරමින් කරපු උද්ඝෝෂණ රැල්ලක්. එම නිසා අපි අද අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ පැමිණිල්ල බාර කරන්නේ මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් වහාම පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන්න.
Meanwhile, the Ceylon Teachers Union stated today that they will withdraw from the practical examinations of the GC Ordinary Level Examination, which are set to commence from Monday. Secretary to the Ceylon Teachers Union, Joseph Stalin, called on the government to expedite the plans they have with regard to resolving the salary anomalies. In other developments, a group of school teachers in the area of Gaul had organised a series of seminars yesterday targeting the students sitting for the GCE Ordinary Level Examination. The seminars were conducted today as well, and the students are required to sit through the sessions in their own vehicles without getting out. The sheer novelty of the program had drawn praise and enthusiasm from the students.
මෙතනට ඇවිල්ලා දරුවෝ සහභාගී වෙන්නේ සෞඛ්‍ය ආරක්ෂිත ක්‍රමවේද සියල්ල භාවිත කරමින් තමන්ගේ පවුලේ අය සමග තමන්ගේ වාහනේ ඇතුළේ එළියට බහින්නත් අහනවා. මෙතනදී මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ කවදාවත් වෙන කිසිම කෙනෙකුට අභියෝගයක් ලක් කරන්න. මම යුතුයකම කරනවා. මම ඇත්තටම සියලු විෂයන් වලට තමයි සංවිධානය කරන්න සූදානම් වුණේ. නමුත් ඒ සඳහා වියදම අපිට දරන්න අමාරුයි.
In other local news, the University Grants Commission has decided to give another opportunity for those who sat for the 2020 GCE Advanced Level Examination and missed out on applying for university admission. Chairman of the UGC, Professor Sampath Amartunga, said that though the application deadline was the 18th of June, the UGC promised at the time that students who could not submit their applications online due to pandemic situations will be given another opportunity. In keeping with the pledge, the UGC has announced a grace period to send in university entrance applications from the 26th of July to the 30th of July. After submitting their application online, the students are further required to send in a signed copy of the entry form to the email address introduced by the UGC, apply2020@ugc.ac.lk. In addition, any changes that students wish to make to the order of the universities or courses they have chosen will be allowed from the 31st of July to the 14th of August. The UGC, however, notes that those who have already sent in their applications will not be able to make such changes. The water supply for several areas in Vattala will be interrupted for 24 hours from 10 a.m. on Monday. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that part of Vattala-Nigambo Road, part of Marbola area, Valikadamulla, all by-roads up to Nayakakanda Junction on Handala Road, Alvis Town, Maradana Road, Puakwatta Road, Galahadua and part of Kerawalapitiya will be affected by the water cut. The interruption to the water supply is due to the laying of water supply lines across the Handala Bridge and connecting it to the main supply. We will see you on the other side of this break. Bear with us.
Big 3.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, oil prices edged higher yesterday and for the week after a strong recovery from Monday's steep slide, underpinned by expectations that supply will remain tight through the year. The price of oil and other riskier assets tumbled at the start of the week on concern over the impact on the economy and crude demand from surging cases of the COVID-19 Delta variant in the United States, Britain, Japan and elsewhere. Brent crude ended the session up 31 cents at $74.10 a barrel after jumping 2.2% on Thursday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude settled up 16 cents at $72.07 a barrel after gaining 2.3% on Thursday. For the week, Brent gained 0.7% after declining for 3 consecutive weeks, while WTI rose 0.4% after falling for 2 weeks. Both benchmarks slumped about 7% on Monday, but paired those losses with investors expecting demand to stay strong and the market to receive support from falling oil stockpiles and rising vaccination rates. Demand growth is expected to outpace supply after Sunday's deal between the OPEC and allies, collectively known as OPEC+, to add back 400,000 barrels per day each month from August. Wall Street gained ground, for the 4th straight session yesterday, extending a rally that pushed all 3 major U.S. stock indices to record closing highs, as upbeat earnings and signs of economic revival fueled investor risk appetite. The S&P 500, the Nasdaq and the Dow all notched weekly gains. Growth and value stocks seesawed for much of the week as market participants weighed spiking infections of the COVID-19 Delta variant against strong corporate results and signs of economic revival. Market participants now look towards next week with the Federal Reserve's 2-day monetary policy meeting and a series of high-profile earnings. The Fed statement will be parsed for clues regarding the time frame for tightening its accommodative policies. Although Chairman Jerome Powell has repeatedly said the economy still needs the central bank's full support. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 238.20 points to 35,061.55, and the S&P 500 gained 44.31 points to 4,411.79. The Nasdaq Composite added 152.39 points to 14,836.99. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, rescue teams in India struggled through thick sludge and debris today to reach dozens of submerged homes as the death toll from landslides and accidents caused by torrential monsoon rains rose to 125. Experts say the Maharashtra state is being hit by the heaviest rain in July in 4 decades, as downpour lasting several days have severely affected the lives of thousands. Authorities are currently monitoring the situation in the southern states of Karnataka and Telangana, where the rivers are also overflowing. Parts of India's west coast have received up to 594 millimeters of rain, forcing authorities to move people out of vulnerable areas as they released water from dams about to overflow. Experts said today that the seasonal monsoon rains from June to September cause deaths and mass displacements across South Asia every year, but also deliver more than 70% of India's rainfall and are crucial for farmers. Harsh weather has hit several parts of the world in recent weeks, with floods in China and Western Europe and heat waves in North America, raising new fears about the impact of climate change. Sri Lanka won only the second one-day international in their last 11 matches yesterday. The opponent was India, and the encounter was a dead rubber, since India had already won the first 2 of the 3 matches in the series. The side the hosts beat by 3 wickets also featured 5 debutants. Head coach of Sri Lanka cricket Mikiyatha, however, sees positives in the performance and also urges his players to steer clear of social media for the sake of their mental well-being.
We're creating depth across all departments. When I look at our fast bowling stocks, I've got a clear idea of where our bowlers are, how they fit in. When I look at our spin bowling stocks, exactly the same, albeit that whether it's Test cricket, 50-over cricket or 2020 cricket. We just have to get that little bit of consistency and that same depth into our batting. And for numerous reasons, we've never seemed to put our best batting lineup out there. You know, we be that through injury or suspensions now to 3 of our key players. The growth I've seen in these players has been fantastic, and the growth comes from giving them confidence and giving them that consistency that they're going to play. And I think we'll see the rewards of that in the future for sure. We got a little bit of a reward for all the efforts that these guys have put in. We're very realistic that we know we're near the finished article yet. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do.
He was also quizzed on the impact of the negative comments on social media which may have on the squad.
Social media is a sin at the moment. My advice to the guys is just stay off it. The guys get absolutely hammered on it. And some of the stuff that is written on there is just beyond comprehensible. To be honest, my best advice is just get off it. Because there's some idiots on there who think they know exactly what's going on when in fact they know nothing.
Now, the most renowned sporting event in the world, the Olympics, which was delayed by a year, got underway today, with China grabbing the game's first gold. 3 Sri Lankans also competed in their respective events, however, without much joy.
The second athlete to represent the island nation today was Anika Ghafoor, who took part in the heats of women's 100-meter butterfly. She finished the heat second, clocking 1 minute and 5.33 seconds. However, she did not qualify for the semi-finals of the event as her time was not within the 16 fastest. Her time earned her the 32nd place. Niluka Karunaratne, Sri Lanka's only hope for badminton, faced his first match of the group play stage today, lost 2-0 against the player from Chinese Taipei. Niluka will play his second match of the group stage against Ireland on Monday the 26th. Looking at the medal table so far, China stands tall with 4 medals in total, 3 golds and 1 bronze. The Republic of Korea is second with 3 medals, 1 gold and 2 bronze. Italy, Japan, Serbia and the Russian Olympic Committee share the 3rd place with 3 medals each. Russian athletes are prevented from competing under the Russian flag owing to sanctions imposed following the finding that there was state-sponsored doping among Russian athletes. The claim, however, is denied by Russia, and the athletes are having to compete under the Russian Olympic Committee banner. In the meantime, an approaching typhoon has forced changes to the schedule of the rowing events at the Olympics. Game spokesperson Maza Takia said today that temperatures were forecast to reach danger levels at a number of competition venues. The Tokyo Olympics are being held during typhoon season, and the weather is a major talking point, with heat and humidity expected to be a major factor in many sports.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.